Hey everyone, welcome to Taking the Pulse, a healthcare and life sciences video podcast. I am Heather Hoops Matthews, here with Maynard Nexon healthcare attorney Matthew Roberts.
Good to see you.
Good to be with you. And we are coming to you live from SCBIO's annual summit here in Greenville, South Carolina this year. It's one of the premier life sciences events in the Southeast, bringing together just cutting edge presentations and national and regional life sciences leaders. And we're going to start with the congratulations to James Chappell, President and CEO of SCBIO. It's been a wonderful summit.
Yeah,
so
thank you. We are really excited. The turnout, and we sold out again this year. I think over 550 registrations. So as I said, I've said a few times, the participation and the amount of people who are excited about the industry shows way more about the momentum that we have than any talking point that I can give or anybody else.
Yeah, it's just
fantastic.
So much
Great
energy.
turnout.
Yes, it is.
Now, your background, you have a PhD and I think a fellowship from Harvard.
I do.
Give us your background and how you became passionate about life sciences.
Yeah, I guess I was always very interested in science and went to Clemson and was a science major there and then just kind of became more and more interested in the research side. I went to LSU, studied cell biology and cell death. And then Harvard, I did stem cell research and cancer research. And then I always kind of, I'm more okay to admit it now. I just realized that life in the lab wasn't for me. I loved the problem solving aspect of it, but I hated pipetting. And I said, I'm okay now. I was not a very good pipetter, so I'd spend a lot of work and then 8 hours in a lab and like a gel wouldn't work or whatever. So I said, well, what can I do that I can continue that problem solving aspect? So I was lucky enough that I ended up in management consulting. Boston Consulting Group recruited people from the hard sciences into, They said, we want your problem solving skills. We can teach you business. So I started doing all kinds of business. Ended up going back to Louisiana with doing more policy and economic development. There was a big movement under Bobby Jindal. Had a lot of consultants working in the economic development department. And then I was really lucky. I mean, I'm from South Carolina, from Columbia, went to Clemson, and I got contacted about SCBIO, and I said, wow, what a perfect job.
Great fit.
That marries my science background and economic development and policy. So, and I always joke that now at least I didn't have to explain my resume so much because it all fit finally. So, really exciting to find those two areas where kind of all the things I'm passionate about come together.
We're glad you're here, and thanks for joining us on this podcast. Life sciences has been a super hot industry in South Carolina. I think one of the fastest growing in the state. How did that growth start, and how has it continued, and what are you trying to do at SCBIO to keep that growth in place?
Yeah, I wish there was a simpler answer to why. I think it's a lot of factors. I think one, that when we have our universities, MUSC and USC and Clemson, there's a lot of kind of new wave, kind of innovative companies. Right. A lot of them are here, Remedy and Kiatech, fast growing companies. They're certainly contributing to that. I think also what we see in Arthrex is a great example. They come to South Carolina and then they see the business climate, they see the collaboration and the spirit, and they just keep expanding. They keep topping off. So I think it's really those two factors that we can contribute most of our growth to. A whole lot of innovative, new, smaller companies, but a lot of them. And then people making investments here, and then they continue to make more. I mean, SHL Medical is another one in Charleston. Right. We have a lot of those kind of stories as well. So I think it's a blend of those two things.
Speaking of the smaller companies, at lunch today, less than an hour ago, you announced an exciting partnership with MassBio to start a new South Carolina accelerator. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. I've known about it for a while, and I've been trying to keep it a secret. I haven't done very well doing that because I've been so excited about it. I talked earlier in my talk that for South Carolina to truly maximize this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, which I think is to be a new hub for life sciences, we have to move up the value chain. We have to have more headquarters, more R&D, and people who have roots in South Carolina who want to stay and grow. We need a company who IPOs in South Carolina. We need that company. We need more that grow from that 10 to 1,000 person company. But we have to build programs and items to help them do that. And so MassBio has the brand. It's the biggest biotech and pharma cluster in the world. They see the growth here, and they said, hey, what do you think about doing that in South Carolina? And so it's launching in Charleston, and it is set up to take these kind of seed stage, smaller companies with great science and match them with industry leaders and mentors, and then access to capital to do exactly that, to get from 5 people to 100, 200, and ultimately 1,000. And the exciting thing is it doesn't take a lot of that. You need a few of those, and then they become your real anchors. And then people want to be around them. And then it's kind of a snowball effect. So to have the MassBio brand and to be able to have access to people that they have access to, I can't stress enough about what a difference I think that's going to make for us to move up that value chain with innovation and startups and growth in that area.
And so that'll start this fall.
It will. Our first cohort will be this fall, and we're planning on doing two cohorts a year.
Okay.
So we'll start off graduating about 12 companies a year.
Wow.
But also, too, we want to make the materials available to all of our companies. So it's going to be a highly competitive program to get into. But just because you don't get in, you still will have access to the videos and the materials. So we still want everybody to be able to learn what these other companies are learning as well. So it should impact a whole lot more.
It's great news. Great news for the state. Great news for SCBIO. Another thing that you guys are working on is workforce development. We know that in a state like South Carolina, workforce development is a challenge for all companies that are coming up.
It is.
What's SCBIO doing to help create a better workforce environment for life sciences companies?
Yeah, and this is one of the things that, we could do an hour podcast on just this alone. We know that we talked about the growth of South Carolina, and since at least 2017, we're far outpacing our southeastern neighbors with growth in the life sciences jobs. We have to match that. So a few things that we're doing, some of it's happening tomorrow. We keep bringing together our industry and academic institutions. What do you need? What are you not getting from the universities? And our universities and colleges are so great. They're so flexible. They say, okay, done. Let's do it. You need this. We'll get it in the curriculum. We moved all the way back up. I'm sure y'all are familiar with Rad Lab, which is aimed at middle school students, the gamification of life sciences. We know a lot of kids don't know what life sciences are in the States. And so, but they all have cell phones. So now they're playing a game, but they're actually learning about life sciences. They're learning what to do in a lab. So we're trying to work at every level, from middle school all the way, our technical colleges. We have the pharma and medical device certificate where people can reskill and upskill to get those skills, and then all the way up to the 4 years. So we're trying to hit every single level because we know that, it's certainly a top priority for us because we can't keep growing if we don't have the workforce.
But if you look at what the average life sciences job pays, it's there's an incentive for people to get into that workforce and help it develop.
Absolutely. $88,000 a year. And the thing that's so exciting that I think people forget is that we are in almost every single county, the life science ecosystem in the state. I think it's 42 or 43 out of 46 counties in the state. So this is opportunities for everyone. If you think about a place like Abbott in Liberty, South Carolina, you have GE Healthcare in Florence, and others are even in more rural areas than that. But then you also have the ecosystems and the Greenvilles and Columbias of Charleston's. There's going to be more of the R&D and headquarters. So when we talk about life sciences, it is really opportunities for the entire state, and high school graduates and 2-year graduates all the way up to PhDs. So I think that's why we're so excited about the opportunities that it creates for all of the citizens of South Carolina. I think sometimes that gets forgotten when we talk about, I'm thinking about startups or these kind of things. It really is the entire state can benefit.
Yep, I can see that.
On your agenda, I've seen topics like quantum computing, AI. Both of those to me feel like great frontier type of topics. We're just starting to understand where this may go. How do you see AI in particular impacting the life sciences industry?
I think it is the next frontier. And I mentioned the exciting thing about South Carolina is because we're a little late mover to the growth in the industry is we can set our industry up for the future. And knowing that AI and digital health is going to be such a big part of that we can set it up for that. I had a conversation with Alan from Deloitte is on that panel. And we were talking about the fact that the next big breakthrough is likely going to be discovered on a computer through AI and machine learning and quantum computing before the lab. It's going to get verified in the lab and discovered in computing. So the frontier is, I don't think that we can even imagine. It's already a big part of discovery and research, but I don't even think we can imagine on where it's going. But we need to be prepared for that, and we need to make South Carolina the best place to do that, which I'm excited about. I've said I think it's one of our priorities as a state, digital health, AI, machine learning. It's a place that we can really kind of put a
We've got the
flag in the
infrastructure
ground.
with the universities. Those are good partners.
We
for this
do,
kind of,
and we have, obviously it's a big focus. Clemson has an AI group. USC, I know it's a big focus of theirs. Dr. Friedrichsen has talked about it a lot. And we have companies like Remedy right down the street who's doing amazing blockchain work in the healthcare industry and is partnering with a lot of big names around. So we have a lot of assets here that we can, I think, quickly grow and become a real leader in that space.
One of the things that SCBIO has been doing is going on, for lack of a better term, mission trips to other countries, other states, to tell the South Carolina story.
Right.
Can you talk about how important it is for SCBIO and its members to be able to tell the South Carolina story with respect to life sciences?
It's one of our key focus areas. I can't stress how important it is, because right now, as much momentum as we have, we still find people who don't know all that's happening here. So
Right.
the example I always use, last year, we went to the Bio International Conference in Boston, about 25,000, the biggest pharma and biotech spaces. In years past, it was SCBIO and maybe a couple other people kind of roaming the halls and trying to talk to people and not a real critical mass. This year, we had a 20 by 30 pavilion. We had a 12-foot tower with all the stats of the growth and the logos. And we had a delegation of, I think, 45 people.
Wow.
A lot of our academic institutions, a lot of our early stage companies where we can be that conduit and say, look, this is important for you to come to. And you can get in front of partnerships with pharma, biotech, investors, and everything else. So we try to do that as much as we can. Bio is the big one, but we are constantly doing that because more people need to know that message. And there's a lot of great companies here that they should be more focused on. So It's a huge, huge focus of ours.
And we know that the state supports SCBIO and supports the life sciences industry. The governor was just here in the meeting this morning. We talked to Ashley earlier. We know they're making a commitment. But we also know that North Carolina and Georgia are investing, tens of millions of dollars into the life sciences industry as a support network. What do you think the South Carolina General Assembly can do in the future to help be more of a catalyst to growth and create a better environment for growth?
Yeah, I kind of keep touching on this, that we can't dip our toe in the water
Right.
on this. If we do, we're going to have nice growth, and we're going to look back in 10 years and regret that we didn't capitalize on it. As I keep saying, my vision, and I think a lot of other people's, is for South Carolina to become a new hub for life sciences.
Right.
Let's start with the Southeast hub. We have a
Right.
real quick opportunity for that, and then to be in the names with all the traditional hubs. But we have to make big bets on things. We have to decide, what are we going to be good at? I talk about biomanufacturing as obviously
Right.
one. Oncology with MUSC and Gibbs Cancer, and those are one. Digital health and some other areas. Alzheimer's is one we have a lot of momentum.
Right.
But we have to make big bets on that. I mean, I talked about Massachusetts. It's not a magic, somebody didn't wave a wand and make them the biggest biotech cluster in the world. In, I believe, just a decade ago, their governor, Deval Patrick, put $1 billion towards life sciences to keep them a leader, because
With
they
a
were
B.
starting to lose them. With a
Yes,
B.
I know. I was
yes,
just like,
yes.
And now they're about to re-up that again. So we're talking about a place who could be resting on their laurels is going to put somewhere around $2 billion into the state. So I'm
Wow.
not saying that we have to do that yet, but we have to say, look, here's where we can win. Here's where we can be a leader, and we have to invest heavily.
Yeah.
And we will. We'll
Right.
do it because the momentum is there.
Right.
and we're definitely a state where you can enjoy where you live
Absolutely.
year round.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we've already seen the in-migration. I talked about, we saw South Carolina last year was 1.6% in-migration. Second place in the country was
Right.
1%.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference.
Yes.
Oh, no.
And so, and we are on what? Every quality of life, every best
Sure.
place to live, best place to visit. And not just one city, but a whole lot
Multiple
of them.
cities,
So
yeah.
we've got, we have it all here. The ecosystem is here. The foundation is here. So let's decide what we want to do and go all in on it and make big bets and become that new leader. And that's,
Yeah.
we got to think big,
Exactly.
and the opportunity is there.
Well, we're thankful to have you back at home.
Yes, I'm happy to
Yes.
be here.
2 years now at SCBIO, and we're grateful you've been on the pulse more than once, and we, of course, want to have you back. On behalf of Matthew and our whole team, congrats, though, on a great summit.
Thank you so much.
It's been great to be here, right in the heart of it, and
Yes,
watch it
very
happen.
exciting.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. And for those of you who joined us today on this episode, we hope you are excited about South Carolina and all that's going to happen here in the future. We look forward to checking back in with you right here on Taking the Pulse, a healthcare and life sciences video podcast.